All right, y'all. Welcome back to another Friday. Happy Dude Days or Dude Dads Friday.
Haul with your y'all there,
Yeah,
dude. That's
boy.
my fucking saying. So take it easy, okay?
Now, so this week, pumped to have my boy Jarvis on the show. I wish I was closer to Jarvis, but we go back. We have a little bit of history back in the
Yeah.
CrossFit days. This dude is an absolute stud athlete.
Oh
Um,
man.
back when I was a wannabe CrossFit athlete, I've had the privilege to compete next to Jarvis a few times. Um, what an absolute maniac. In addition to that, a phenomenal musician. We're going to get into that soon. But
Mhm.
Jarvis, thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys having me, man. Truly.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. So, rewind a little bit. Met you in the CrossFit world in this little Delaware space that we have. Um, Jarvis actually went on to be a regionals athlete, right?
Oh,
Well,
that where you didn't go with them?
no.
You
My
didn't
man,
you
my
didn't
man
make
was
it?
way better than me. Way better. How many times you go to regionals?
We never went to regionals. We were supposed to
Oh,
qualify and then we had some team problems, but the
ah,
numbers were there to do it. But the year that was supposed to happen, so many other life things happened where I was like, okay, I'm leaving. And I just went to LA at that point. But
yeah, I knew that was right when you transitioned, and it kind of shifted your focus a little bit.
absolutely.
Um, but so yeah, tell us a little bit about what your life is like on the West Coast now.
Yeah, life now is only music. I work in live entertainment. I play drums, keys professionally. I play other instruments, but those are the ones that bring in money.
Mhm.
And then I'm also a playback engineer where I make all the backing tracks, run Ableton, and do a lot of stuff where it comes out to controlling instruments on stage, sending out information to lighting and pyro and the world. So nothing starts until I press play. So
Nice.
it's kind of
So
cool.
what type of artists are you working with?
In the playback world, everyone from country, pop, rock, anything. Playing wise is a lot of pop, R&B, and then session work could be anything. I did like a folk thing, and it's anything goes in the session world. But live is a lot of pop world and R&B world.
Any big names you want to name drop?
Yeah, let's do some name dropping here. Come on, I need a whole
Um,
list.
I'm getting ready to head
I
out
will
on
start by
tour.
who's the worst, who's the biggest asshole, and go down. No, I'm just
That gets
kidding.
you fired quickly.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah, some similar names you guys might know is like Jordan Sparks. I did her stuff recently. Emmy Melly, who had the song "I Am Woman," that was major. I've worked on everyone's stuff when it comes on the playback world. Gym Class Heroes. When we worked on some of the stuff for Sabrina Carpenter. I've done stuff for Tate McRae, literally across
Nice.
the world. So
Right.
a
And
lot
how
of fun
what
stuff.
Oh, God.
how about
Well,
like smaller folks? Like, do you do like cover band stuff? You know what I mean? In like the bar club scene?
Not anymore, man. I started in that world, which there's nothing wrong with it. However, to me, it felt like I was always something that just happened to be there versus something that people were going to go see.
Hmm.
And to me, I don't like that feeling devoting my life to a skill and then it just be something that, oh, I'm going to go out with my boys or I'm going to go to girls' night. And it's like, oh, a band's here. It's like, no, I want you to pay to come see me, you know?
Uh-huh.
so how is the need created for your position? So I mean, you typically think of a musician, you're thinking of a band. So is it like somebody just a solo artist? It's like, hey, we have a band. You go to here, they have a band together. They'll knock your song out professionally.
Yep.
Or people do you have bands have people where they're just kind of rotating in and out because people have different lives. Like how's the need and what are the needs for you?
Sure. So there's a couple different ways to go about this. So most artists do not have a band. They're just an artist and then they hire out a band.
Okay.
And then usually how that gets facilitated, it could be a creative director hires a musical director hires out a bunch of different things, but it usually starts before it gets to us from some type of musical director. So somebody gets the account and says, let's just say use like Taylor Swift, so she's major. Um, this guy has Taylor Swift's account. Great. What's your budget like? That's usually the first conversation, which usually allows them to staff who they want to staff based off that number.
Okay.
And then what their needs are. So let's say they want three guitarists, a bass player, two keys players, drums, and that's what it is. Okay, cool. We got seven people on the stage. Okay, they need X amount of dollars. Okay, cool. And then they hire out who they think is the best fit for that.
Hmm.
So that's kind of mostly how it works because bands aren't really a thing. Like Blink 182 is kind of like an anomaly. Like you don't see bands anymore. You see artists and then they hire out a band. I think Dave Matthews might be the only one that's like still relevant. Don't cancel me for this, people. But like you can say Dave Matthews Band, you pretty much know Carter Buford's on drums. Like it's weird if you go see Dave Matthews and he's not there. Yeah. So you like it's a thing with them.
Yeah, a couple of jam bands. You got like I remember when like OAR. If you see the same guys, they'll fucking jam out the whole time. You know what I mean? A couple of bands I've seen, like they'll do a rotation and show you how talented everyone is, and they'll rotate through the instruments.
Yep.
And Dispatch will do that. First time I ever saw Dispatch at a concert, I was like, yo, these motherfuckers are rotating the instruments right now. Like they're going around during the song, and it's like, yeah, we're all badass. I was like,
and killing.
All right.
Yeah,
that's a cool show off.
Yeah, I like when bands do that.
So oh, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
So when you get to there, now is there like a ladder of talent? Like is there like how do you get ranked in like if talent or like you say budget goes first? Like how do you is there like is it just on paper or like there's an actual like this guy or just who knows like the talent wise? Like how do you climb that ladder and how do you and is at the end of that ladder, is it going to a band that does rotate around or like this is the new genre of where you want to be as a band member?
Yep. No, great question. So it's skill set and relationships. It's more relationships than skill set for sure. Because let's be honest, this music is not hard. This music isn't like jazz or crazy classical music where you got to be the most talented musician itself to achieve the end result.
Okay.
There's definitely skills in here that are important for you to be able to do and achieve and make the music feel good. But it starts with discipline and having that kind of stuff. And then creating relationships with musical directors that trust you. And I'm trying to think like a really cool way to explain this. It's like if you guys own businesses.
Yeah.
Great. So it's like if you have an employee that's been with you for 10 years, they know your attitude, they know what time you want to come in, they know how you like your coffee, they know your systems, they know your secretary, they know every aspect of your business. So you don't have to talk to them. It's like, okay, cool. And then if they want to take off, you're not worried because they know how things are going to go.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with musical directors. Like they don't have time at this high level to groom someone to be the same way as this 10-year experienced person.
Yeah.
So it's like, once you get in, it's a matter of learning quickly and learning this person's system. And once they can trust you, you're always going to be a call for that person because they don't have to talk to you. They understand the expectation. So
being the most professional and path of least resistance to getting the song done.
100%.
Okay. Now, wait, one more question.
Okay.
Up, dude, I'm trying to talk, man.
My bad.
So I'm trying to chat,
man. You had your turn, all right? Fuck out here now. Fuck you, man. See, I went off and now I fucked my whole self up here. What was your journey to getting to where you're at now? Where did you start? Like, how did you make it there?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Delaware. Went to see. Are you guys still in Delaware?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Smyrna.
Yeah, so Smyrna. Okay, yeah. So I went to CR, and then from there went to Berklee College of Music, and then came back to be an athlete. So I stopped playing drums for almost like 3.5 years professionally. And then when I got out here, I was like, all right, it's go time. Let's figure this out. Luckily, I had really good relationships from Berklee where people were telling me like, oh, you're really not that good, but you can work on certain things to get to a better place. So they cared enough to tell me that, which is great.
That's nice, yeah.
And then I just got in the practice world and honed in on my skills and developed relationships and got closer to God, which I think really helps my person being like in general. Yeah. And then that to me was everything. It's like people want me to be in the room, and it's not to be on some egoic thing, but one of the business managers of this company was like, something you do when you're in the room, you make everyone better. She's like, I don't know what it is, but you just bring this energy where people just want to be around you. Awesome. So that was kind of like the thing I wanted to focus on first is people wanting me around. And then if they happen to know I play drums, that was just a bonus.
Yeah.
And then, once I got here, made some relationships. And then one of my really good friends, RJ Kelly, who's the drummer for American Idol, gave me an opportunity to work with an artist, Timar. I did my first major festival at Governor's Ball with him, and then from that point forward, it was just kind of steps and steps and steps, and people were like, "Okay, we like this guy. Let's keep him around to do some fun stuff."
Dude, that's so many more questions. Dude. So,
and the whole music, the whole music industry is fascinating, especially for those that aren't in it, right? Like I'm obviously not in the professional music industry, but to hear someone that that's in the thick of it and tell the stories and all the pieces, it is pretty fascinating. I like that you really just left Delaware because you knew that what you wanted wasn't going to happen here.
right here.
Yeah, you got to go out and you're like, fuck everything here. And I say that with lack of a better word, not literally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go out there and make it happen
before you leave.
Because you can't make it. You knew you weren't going to make it happen in Delaware. Maybe you could. It would just take a lot longer. You know what I mean? You really like burnt the boats. I mean, you left yourself no other choice. You know what I mean? I'm going out there and I want to fucking sink or swim.
Yep.
I know you enough that you weren't going to fail. I know damn well that.
That's all I had.
Yeah.
I didn't have money. I had no savings. I came out here with $250 on my account and a fucking dream. I slept on an air mattress for 9 months.
Where'd you stay?
So my brother was already out here. He was still new to LA. So we got an apartment together. I was still spending $1,200 just myself in the portion just to have my portion of the rent. But I didn't have no bed. We didn't have a couch or anything like that. Like we just were here on some dream shit and cool, figure it out. Luckily, I had my L2, so I got a CrossFit job easily, and then was able to have some income. But I didn't have shit. All I had was a belief in me. That's it.
Yeah. And now, fast forward, you're making a pretty okay living, right?
Yep.
Just doing legit music. I mean, do you stay busy, steady booked every weekend, multiple times a week, that sort of thing?
It's not so much that. It's more like you'll tour for. Well, I'm getting ready to tour pretty much the rest of the year, starting on the 20th. But it's more like this is gonna sound bad, but you can make a really good living in a short amount of time.
That's great. That doesn't sound bad at all.
Can you make money? Do you is it just for the part, or can you ask for like royalties, or do they already have different avenues set up for you?
Yeah, so you could do a lot of different things. I did a co-percussion album with my friend Raphael, and then we have a sync placement, which we get royalties from. So we have Call of Duty, like we have a song that's on Call of Duty, so that's a royalty check.
Oh yeah.
You can get royalties. So if you do like American Idol is a great example, and The Voice, those guys get royalties off of the songs that get played on iTunes and Spotify and that kind of stuff because they're technically in there. They also get royalties for being like they do certain individual parts outside of what their assigned job is. So let's say someone plays violin, but then they need someone to play viola, and this person happens to do that. That's 2 checks now because you're 2 different instruments. So yeah, you can set yourself up in a pretty good way, but most of the time it's with anything else. Just be responsible with money because you're going to make a lot of money coming in. But then you can also have, like, I toured last time in December. I finished on, I think, like the 17th, and I haven't been out since March. So it's like you need to be responsible with your money because these bills are still coming. So don't buy fucking clothes.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a nice balance that you could kind of, I don't know how much picking and choosing you can do, but you can at least look for the opportunity. Like, all right, this one's going to be for my long term. Like hopefully get royalties on this, kind of like my, this is my layer, because there's no retirement set up for you. I'm assuming there's no like 401k. So like you're thinking there's going to be a royalty one here, this one here, this is going to be my quick cash, get the bills paid. But this one over here, I'm floating good now. This one I can do for a long term. So I kind of like that. Yeah, like picking, get a choice to pick and choose.
Yeah.
When you build that name like you have, does that person just plug you in, or do you get to have a say like, hey, I have kind of a crew, like I could get down on this? Do you have some say in like this person, like how communal is it?
Yeah, no, we all know each other. It's like any profession. It's like millionaires all know each other. People who are below them, they all know each other. Billionaires all know each other. So everybody knows each other, and then you just respect what each person brings to the table, because I'm not the best fit for every gig. I will flat out say that, and we know. And it's not an ego thing. If I get a call to do something and I don't think I'm the best fit for it, I will be like, hey, I don't think I can, or I don't think I am the right person, but I'll shop you out to X, Y, and Z because I think they're really, really good.
Okay. And that's a responsible thing to do.
Yeah. You don't want to crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't set yourself up for failure ever. And it's like you guys are really good friends, right? Best friends, probably. You want to see your friends do really well, and it's no problem to be like, nah, my boy does this. Cool.
Yeah.
Go win.
I'll come back later.
Every time.
He'll have the same moment. Like, nah, you need to go to Tom on that one.
Yeah.
Yep. So sometimes you have a say, like if I'm in charge of something, yes, 100%. But then you also have times where artists would be like, my friend plays guitar, so they want them to play guitar. Okay. So you kind of preface it a certain kind of way, because you say, okay, I don't know your friend, but if you want them on, fine. However, if they're not keeping up with my guys, we have to discuss this and figure out something different.
Yeah, what do you do with that? Like, you get like a really ego heavy artist that's like, you get thrown in a shitty friend or somebody, like, and you're all sitting there like, what the fuck are we doing? We're all pretending like this dude don't suck.
It's our job to make sure everything goes well. And I think I'll tell you the conversations that we have is that our job is to make sure you all, as the people watching the show, forget about all your problems. So whatever we have problem-wise in rehearsal rooms or on stage, we can't let you all feel it.
Yeah.
So it's nothing. It's just like, okay, fine. How do we overcome this obstacle versus, oh, this person's a diva or this person has a bad attitude? It's like, it's the least important thing. The most important is to make sure you all have the best experience, and then we'll figure everything else out here. But I think that's also a telling side of who you have with you. Because if you give me a problem, I'll make sure we don't ever use you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. We ain't got the bandwidth for that shit.
Do you get, so you said you went on tour. Do people, like artists, like need to come recruit like essentially a subcontracted band to then travel with them to maybe do like live shows and live recordings?
Yep. 100%.
That's pretty cool, man. You got like a lot of options to different lifestyles. Like, yeah, I'm in the studio for a while, but you know what? This summer, don't try to break out. I'm gonna just get some fresh air. Yeah,
it's hard, but man, it's a cool thing.
The wild thing is, like, there's so much really with anything, but since we're talking about music, there's so much to the music world that people don't see. The amount of hard work and dedication, the bullshit, right? You're only seeing that couple percent. That's let's call it glam, for lack of a better word. The performance where you said, we got to put all the shit aside and only focus on the customer, right? Who's the people that come to see you. And probably why there's a lot of bands out there that they go on tour with each other. When they're done, they all go home to their four corners of the United States and don't talk to each other for 3, 4, 5 months. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's a lot. That's a lot of bands. I mean, you look like bands like Metallica, been around for 50 years or whatever, and 40 something years. Those guys literally live as far apart from each other as you possibly can. And like, they're at the point now where, like, in the middle of a tour, they go home for a couple days and they're not talking. You know what I mean? And then come back and
I think men can do that pretty well. Departmentalize your lives.
I think so too.
Say, hey man, so I don't kill you in 6 months. I'm gonna go take a break, do my thing. We don't have to be around each other 24/7. Like, we did our thing. That's our thing.
Yeah, I love you, but I need my space.
Catch you later.
Yeah, and do, like, again, just like anything, but the amount of dedication. And I think it goes back to, for your character, like the amount of dedication you put towards CrossFit or, being an athlete, working out, right? There's the most successful folks in, whatever sport you choose, football, baseball, CrossFit, just being the best power lifter. The dedication that goes along with that is not for 99% of people. That life is just not for it.
Yeah.
I would never be a level, like a regionals type games athlete. Probably because I couldn't, but also because, like, I'm not willing to dedicate the time to it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not, because I'm like, I would rather have my family time. I'd rather, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Maybe have a beverage every weekend, or like, and go out with my kids. Like, that what I would choose over that. Not that I don't respect the fuck out of the ones that do choose it, because I do know what it takes. I think it's back to what I was kind of originally getting at, is like one of the reasons why I think you're so successful and you just made it work is because you have that hardwired dedication, figure it out. I know it's not going to be easy, but we're just going to stay the course. You know what I mean? And it's just that type of shit fascinates me because it's all encompassing in your entire life. It's a part of your being, and that's why the top 1%ers will always be successful at everything they do, because it's all works hand in hand. Sports, your relationships with your kids, with your spouse, with your profession, it all is very intentional, and it takes a certain person to like fire on all cylinders in every equity of life. You know what I mean? And so kudos you, bro, because I definitely recognize that.
Thank you, man,
for making that happen, man. So yeah, like we were talking a minute ago before we started recording, the reason why I want to have you on is because of your intentional questions and conversations that you, correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of want to encourage people to engage in this conversation, right?
Yes.
Because like these are conversations and questions that people don't ask, but they kind of need to, right? They're
Yep.
conversations that need to be had. And a lot of for people that don't know Jarvis or follow Jarvis, if you don't, I encourage you to, because it's pretty much daily you're asking a question,
Yep.
right? And it's usually, ladies, what do you think about X? Gentlemen, what do you think about X? Or how are you raising your sons? Or these are very generic, examples, but I love the fact that you're like, let's call out some bullshit. Let's have some tough conversations. Let me be the scapegoat to make you think. Right? That's what I get from it. You know what I
100%.
mean? You're like, all right, Jarvis has the balls to throw it out there for his thousands of people to see. And
Yeah.
now maybe Jerry's having a conversation at his house that he wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yep.
And it's fucking so important that people like you do that, because it's shit that we do have to talk about. You know what I mean?
You gotta leave room to ask why. Like if you can just safely say, well, let's just ask and we'll look at both sides and whatever, we'll just see what happens. Let's just get a thought in the air. I'm not asking you to be on a side. I'm just saying, let's just look at it.
Well, we're in a time too where
Let's just take a look.
everybody's afraid to have a fucking conversation because you're afraid you're going to offend somebody, or you
supporting one side
right,
of that question,
it's or like, you hate right, yeah, or you hate someone that you hate the counterpart of whatever you're talking about, right?
Yep.
I hate the blues, I hate the reds, I hate the gays and the straight and the Christians and the dads and the moms. Like, what happened to conversations? And it's so nice that I think folks like yourself are starting to like have a voice. They're starting to talk about it, say the quiet part out loud, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm hopeful that it's becoming more the norm, right? And the people that I was like, I'm not just going to say anything because I don't want to ruffle any feathers, I'm hoping that's going away, because it's not a bad thing. I'm not having this conversation because it's a negative thing. Like, hey, let's talk, right? Educate me.
Let's just leave it at a conversation. It ain't
Yeah.
gotta be all opinions. No one's gonna get worked up.
Right.
Just leave it at a conversation.
Right. Listen to learn, not just to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you do get worked up, my goal is to make sure you understand how to manage your emotions. Like I don't care, because if we talked about anything that we're passionate about, it's gonna get intense. It's just what it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to understand how to stay on the argument and not make it a character attack, or not go south and shift the narrative to fit whatever you're trying to argue. It's like you and I can disagree all day fucking long, and I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. But if you can articulate your point very well, and so can I, then now the masses can see, oh, Jerry has great points, Jarvis has great points. Well, let's take this idea and then this idea and then that idea. And I think we're going to have the best outcome if we take the best of both sides. But if we don't talk about both sides, we only have one spectrum here that we're going to go down. And that's the problem. It's like people hate Kanye, but Kanye said it best. If you give me all the information, I won't make a bad decision. Simple.
Yeah, how can you argue with that?
It's a simple fucking concept. Like, it's a real simple concept, but we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
He
No,
does, he does do both extremes. He says some great shit and he says some crazy shit.
I love
Yeah.
Kanye for that.
I make sure I listen to that great shit. I'm like, this is a good point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're right. None of us are the same. None of us love all the same shit, right, at the same time and all that. But I don't understand how folks make something their identity or build their relationships around just those folks and shut out everyone else. You know, like politics is a huge thing right now. And I don't know if it's because we're older or it's just what it is now, but the
Probably.
polarizing
Mm-hmm.
in like politics is insane. I know people that I've genuinely have, have genuine love for and respect that do not like they will shut out everybody if they're not just fall in line with what they think, right? And it's all opinions. That's all it is. It's
That's
just an
it.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing real about it, like physical. We're not touching, but like you can say all that shit and we don't see eye to eye and you hate me for it. But like if we were in the same room together, are you saying you wouldn't give me a hug if I went in to hug you?
Right.
Like don't lie to me. I know you would.
Right.
Right. So it's not real. It's fake. You're
Mm-hmm.
getting, like you said, they can't control their emotions. And not to go too deep, but I think that goes back to like human beings are just weak. That's the only way
Yeah.
I can
Oof.
really sum it up, right? It comes from everyone being so weak. Everything is so easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to have a platform to speak. It's easy to get food. It's easy to
Mm-hmm.
get water. Our houses are warm. We all got nice, cozy beds. Everything is so easy, and it's created a weak society,
Right.
especially men. You know what I mean?
I
People
agree.
But
can't even handle their emotions on the road. I mean, think about
no,
all the weirdos that just get crazy road rage. You're like, for what? Okay,
yeah,
drive your car.
yeah,
I've told Jerry 100 times, a guy could cut me off like a motherfucker and crash the car next to me, and I would be like, yeah, all right, well, that's it. I
yeah,
Yeah,
mean,
that
whatever.
sucks.
You
Move
could cut me
on.
off. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I mean, I never expect, good things to happen when I get on the road. I don't expect people to change. You know what I
right,
mean? So it's like,
Right.
why would I get mad at dumb people doing dumb shit?
yeah. But
Yeah.
from someone looking on the outside, and I don't engage too much in your stuff, but I see it and I like it a lot. I think I've gave you props a number of times of like just I like this stuff where it's going. A couple
Yeah.
years ago, you're doing like your quotes of the day. I think there's actual value, right? And
I
there's
like
so
a,
much,
Mm-hmm.
I like a good quote.
yeah.
Quote of the day.
Like your stuff has value to it, whether it's having a conversation or hey, I love you guys, right, or anything in between.
Yep.
It's nice to see because there's a lot of bullshit on everybody's timelines, on everybody's socials, on the news, on all that stuff. Um,
That's what colleges used to be for. Learn
yeah,
how to debate and talk to each other about different shit.
Right.
That's
yeah,
where you used to go and like sit down, like, hey, let's have a very functional debate where no one gets all crazy. We're gonna talk about both sides, see where we land, and that's it. We'll go no further than that.
yeah,
That's
To where
it.
now, people are getting, shut. I mean, well, I think we've seen the news,
yeah,
everything about campus. It's like it is crazy. Like no one can talk to each other without getting so riled up. Can't look at both sides. Everybody, like you said, is polarized. They're just stuck on one thing. It's like, is that you? You're on that one. That's it. You can't look. You can't be three-dimensional. You take a
Yep.
little bit from everything.
So
It's
I want
the
to talk
best way.
about. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Add whatever you want to add. I don't want. I don't mean to keep
Oh, we bored
rambling
you.
for you because I just brought up your
Okay.
Facebook and what you posted the other day. The thing I responded to, what kind of got this conversation going,
Yeah.
is parents. Would you teach your sons to spend money on females that they just met? Also, would you teach them that a promiscuous woman is the best candidate for marriage for them? And it's you can skim through that and be like, oh, it's a basic ass question. I know what I would do, but also it can go deeper. And like, again, I don't know if was your intention, but that's the way I took it. Because I'm like, all right, and then I put myself there. Okay, my kids aren't worrying about either right now, but um, yeah, and I answered, hey, yeah, you spend money on a date, right? I'm gonna buy you a treat, buy you ice cream, buy you spend a movie, a dinner, but I'm not paying your bills. You know what I mean? And because that's a whole other discussion, right? The promiscuous
Right.
thing. Um, Maybe in a certain time of your life, okay. Oh, but what's the promiscuous? Is it for other people or is it just for you? Right? Like because there's a whole love language thing, right? I want you to love me for who I am, not for what I could provide. I want you to desire me, right? You could be a whore for me all you want. And I think that's great and healthy, right? I
Sure.
use that word for lack of a better word again. I'm not talking literal shit here.
Sure.
But then there's the other side of it that can go and be like absolutely poisonous and and ruin things. So like there's deeper levels to this.
Yeah, like when you say spend money on, say, a girl, right? I would
Mm.
think that I wouldn't teach make my son's name is Macon, so I would teach Macon, wouldn't teach him like, I would mean he's not going. I don't think I have to teach him a limit because he ain't gonna have a lot of money then.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to teach him is if he loves that girl or he's willing to work for it, well, I'm going to teach him the back part of that. Well, how do you get money? I'm going to teach you, okay, well, then you need to go work. I remember times where I took odd jobs to make money to buy jewelry for a girlfriend. So it's a great opportunity to teach him to work for things that he either loves or he likes. So, all right, you
Yes.
like
See,
her, you want to get her a piece of jewelry? How the fuck you going to do that?
that's a whole nother layer to the question, right? You see what I mean?
How you going to do
That's the
that? You
point.
going to get a job. I'm not going to just provide you so you don't understand how to get money and just give her. You're not going to just give her shit. You're going to have to give part of you to earn that to give to her. And then hopefully she respects what it took for you to get that.
Yep.
When you
Right.
hand that to her, it's not like it's like, yeah, you like it. It's like you need to be looking like, does she even respect that or understand what it took for you to get there? You know what I mean? These are
Yeah,
fundamentals of figuring out what kind of woman you're engaging with.
100%. The premise of the conversation. So I make notes in my phone about different topics that I want to talk about, and then I try to formulate the question in a way where I can get the answer I'm looking for
Yeah.
without baiting them to answer it my way.
Yeah.
So the how that started was you guys are married, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's now out here, especially in LA, women have this idea. It's like if a man is spending X amount of dollars on me, he's not qualified to be a good man to me and all this other stuff. Look, I'm not spending $200, $300, $400, $500, regardless of what my bank account looks like, on anyone I just meet. I don't give a shit if it's a man, if it's a woman, if it's a child. I don't know you. That is weird to me. So you get that conversation, but then I'm like, would you guys tell your sons to do that to a rando? Like, would you tell them, okay, this woman is showing her breast and her ass on TV or in the internet? Would you tell him to spend that amount of money on her? Would you tell him that she's a good candidate for what? Like, if she dressed like the way you guys dress and came into your house to sit at your dinner table, would you be okay with that? And I think that's the conversations that, or at least the framework that I don't think women are really thinking about now. We're shifting into a spectrum of my body, my choice. And you're right. It 100% is. Do whatever you want with it. The problem I have is not what you do. The problem I have is now you're telling me I have to accept what you do as you are deserving to be with me now. I don't think that's fair. The same way they have their own standards, we have our standards. They're very, very different. So I flipped the question to be like, okay, well, what would you tell your sons? And the daughter conversation is coming next week, by the way. So,
Good.
it's going to be a thing where I just want people to think about what they're really asking. And then would you tell the people that you love birth to do the same thing that you're asking some random stranger to do for you? And the answer is no, they would not at the premise of it. They just want to say certain things. So, yeah, but I think the way you guys took it, which I didn't view it, but I think that's also great. It puts people to force to have conversations in their household or reevaluate the way they're parenting. Or, okay, when I have a child, would I do that? Or how would I approach teaching them that way?
Yeah.
So I think it just breeds for a different thing. And then for people who don't know, the way I set up the Facebook is, initially I started with the quotes, and then I was like, I don't think this is enough. And then I got into Rogan heavy. Like, I love Joe Rogan. And not for the things I think most people enjoy him for, but he's naturally inquisitive. And I think he's the best conversationalist out there that probably ever existed because he's genuinely curious. Yep. He doesn't go into a bias. And he also has Jamie next to him to fact check whatever the fuck someone's telling him. So really cool. But then I was like, okay, cool. Let's figure this out of a way that my community can start having these conversations. And at first it sucked, because I didn't have real control over how people were able to respond. So people would shift it to be character attacks and all this other stuff. And I didn't know how to monitor that. So then I started making rules of, if you say something you're on topic, cool, say whatever you want. I don't care. If someone challenges your argument, as long as they're challenging your actual argument, it stays. If they challenge you as a character and all this other stuff, that I won't allow. But it forces people, even if like yourself, you say, I don't engage, great. But you read it and you think, okay, I see that. Or that's kind of a dumb argument, but maybe I think that way.
Yeah.
And maybe I didn't notice I thought that way. And maybe I do have that internally. And then you have an emotional response to something, but then you see it logically because you're not involved in it. And you're like, oh shit. Okay. I see now. Now I see what my husband was talking about. Now I see what my boyfriend was talking about. Now I see what my girlfriend was complaining about, where she needs emotion from me. It just forces you to evaluate yourself when you see it coming from two different people versus you personally engaged into it.
As long as you can genuinely learn to take something from it, or put yourself in a position and kind of role play it in your mind. I do that. I'll be watching movies, right? Dumb shit. And I'll implant my life into a scenario just to like feel and see how it is, right? And I call that passion. Some people might call it other things, but so when I see like questions like you asked, that's what I'll do. I'll inject my reality into that scenario and then force myself to say, how would I do that? Right. The question with the last one was perfect because I'm not there yet. And I'm also a smart enough parent to know that shit might change a little bit. My thought, what I think now in 5 years will probably shift a little bit, right? Your
and that's
standards
okay.
might be there. Yeah, because I know what I said before I had kids, and then the reality of once you have kids and all this other shit that goes on, I know it's not going to stay the same forever.
Yep.
I think certain questions like what you asked, like the last one, is a kind of a standard or a like a core value that you want to bring your kids up in that won't shift too much. But how it's delivered, how it's taught, the little micro pieces of it might shift a little bit.
Absolutely.
But I get fascinated, especially with my family, because everything that Tom and I do surrounding like being self-employed and what we do is intentional, and it's all about positioning us to spend more time with our family, or to positioning us to be better husbands or better dads. That's always the thought in, if this, then that, right? Because that's where we're at in our life. It's not working out for 3 hours a day, right? Or whatever else. You know what I mean? It's just, that's not the piece. I get in my hour or two a day, or 4 to 5 days a week, then that's great. That's all I'm really happy with, because I'm more interested in like making sure my son is a well-rounded athlete and becoming a man, right? Because now I've got to I got to make this boy become a man in this world of soft pussies, right? I got to make sure he's not influenced by that. And all I can control is this dude. And then my daughter, all I can control is her. What's her expectations of a man, right? And like, how am I setting examples when I'm going through the house and I make sure, they give mommy a kiss. She sees me holding her in the kitchen. They see me slap her ass in a fun, flirtatious way, right? And they know this is right. You're setting examples in everything that you do. Now that doesn't mean, me and Pam don't go out and are Jerry and Pam. We're not mommy and daddy, because that's the other piece, right? We got to make sure we're not just identifying as parents. We're identifying as husband and wife individuals, or even just as a couple, right? We're going to go act like dumb 23-year-olds tonight or this weekend. And that's important too, I love all the little nuances of that stuff, and leading the intentional life and having the conversations and all of that jazz that goes along with it. It's super fascinating to me. And I like that there's other people that aren't just coasting and riding. I'm waking up, I'm gonna see where the day takes me, and I'm just gonna be on defense all day.
I think it also teaches, I think it's important too, like we were saying, like learning how to have a conversation. I think it also is good to teach the opposing side, or the side for, like, why there may be a pushback or a pull out, Like, say the women that you're like, hey, if you ain't spending enough money on me, that's not a man to me, or you're not gonna be, my, what I'm after. And you say, okay, well, we're not going to participate in that, and here's why. You have a thing, we have a thing. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying you will limit yourself to this kind of person. That's it. You know what I mean? So maybe they can go, oh, maybe that's not the best, or maybe they're right. Maybe I will attract only a certain type of man.
You hope.
You know,
You
just to
hope for it.
understand the other side, not if because if you don't spend the time, as long as you're not attacking that person, you're just explaining your side and kind of why your pedigree is the way it is, and that's it. So that everybody can understand both sides.
That's it.
Do
Yeah.
you how do you look at raising a son and a daughter, son or a daughter? Do you think that it's different? Do you think they're different to raise, right?
100%. I don't
And
have children. Sorry, keep going. You have a two-part question. I'm
no,
sorry.
and well, and like just kind of like there's going to be different standards, and it's not sexist. It is just the way human beings are, right?
Reality.
So how do you think about that when you think in your future son and your future daughter, or either or? How do you go through that in your mind?
Yeah, I think my son has to be a man. And what that means to me is like you need to understand how to protect and provide. And there's more layers to just that. It's not just be a macho man and own guns to be able to fight and make a lot of money. No, there's more depths to that. You need to be nurturing in a sense. You also need to understand how to mitigate emotions. You need to teach that son how to mitigate emotions because men are more prone to violence. So an emotionally unstable man will go to violence. That's how you get random ass school shooters and these guys that are doing, I don't know where this is going, so I'll say grape. You just get those men who do wild stuff, and then it takes us men to go in and now we have to regulate that shit. So it's like, I need to teach you how to do those things and certain skills so you can earn your value. Because men have the luxury of earning their value, women have the luxury of preserving their value. And I think that's a really, really cool thing, but they're different. My daughter, I think my job is to teach her things and show her, like you were saying with your kids, it's like you want to show them what it is. So if I can do certain things for my daughter and expose her to certain different realities, like if we go on trips and she's able to do certain things and experience certain experiences, this guy, it can't woo her with certain things anymore. She's already experienced that. So it's like, okay, bro, like nice yacht, bro, but like what the fuck else you got for me?
Yeah,
Like
the
my
flash
dad
is
does
over.
that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like nice private jet, bro, but
100%.
like my uncle does that. So it's like I don't know how that's cool, but it is nice. But what else you got? So to
Yeah.
me, it's like I want to make sure she doesn't get taken advantage of by the luxuries and the flashy things that make it seem like this guy's a good guy. So I think that's the premise of it. Once again, I don't have kids, so I haven't really, it's not in my face yet. Cause like you said, it's like, it could change, it really could
You're
evolve.
You know why?
you're dead nuts on though, and it's exactly as like to summarize how I view being a parent. It's exactly it. With my daughter. People say, "Well, why do you need to squat 400 pounds?" Well, so my daughter is not impressed by some shithead's 135 squat. That's why.
Yeah, because
Yep.
because we all know men, they're fucking liars. They'll be in
Yeah,
there trying to act cool in the gym,
yeah,
and the girl like, yeah, he does it. The other guy's like, bitch is weak as fuck.
yeah,
They're just
Exactly.
looking the part. I mean, that dude.
yeah. My daughter is very unimpressed by almost everything, and I don't want to say like we have the best life ever, but she's been on a lot of nice vacations. You know what I mean?
Great.
We have a hot tub. We have a really nice outdoor setup. We have right nice vehicles and all those things where I might come off really braggy. I swear to God, I'm not being braggy,
No, it's
but
just honest.
but it's just she's very, very unimpressed by things like that so far. She's only 10, and I'm hoping it stays that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I know she expects certain things from me too, right? Like, and I've said this probably half dozen times about the holding the door open thing on this podcast, where we go to Wawa one time, me, my daughter, and my son were walking through the vestibule, the little airlock, and my daughter's in front of me. She goes to the door and just stands there and waits. She was waiting for me to open the door for her. And like, I was so fucking proud of that because she
Yeah.
knows this is what happens.
Yeah.
She walked to the door, never turned around, stared at the door, just stood there. And I reached over her and I pulled the door open and she walked in.
Like you're saying,
Yep.
she's preserving her value.
But so like
That's
That's it.
that's her
That's what it
that's her
is.
expectation.
Yeah.
She's not a spoiled brat. She's not a snotty little bitch, but
Mhm.
that's just her everyday normal, right?
But you could
So
take that further though. When she starts to date and the guy comes to pick her up, you got to meet dad. And when you meet dad, you get to see dad's house. So then now you understand the level of expectation that she desires.
Yeah.
It's going to deter men. I say this to women all the time. If you are a whore, you're going to attract whore energy. If you are a classy woman, men won't approach you the same way they're going to approach a promiscuous woman. We all know that. If we see a woman at the grocery store who's in her sweats and we approach her, we look at her as a future wife or girlfriend or something that's real. If we see the same woman in a grocery store and she has a skimpy skirt on, I promise you no man is thinking, I want to make her my wife. It's not real. So what you do to your daughter is like, great, now this guy shows up and he's like, oh shit, okay, I got to get my shit together because dad over here is a fucking rock star knocking shit out of the park. She ain't gonna want to get in my little Pinto. Not that she doesn't understand that he's 16, 18, whatever, and has a Pinto, but it's like, hey, bro, like, we need to be on some stuff here because this is what I'm used to, and this is the standard that I understand is possible.
Yeah.
That's everything.
I really hope that someday you have at least a boy and a girl, and you can raise two other human beings that are gonna go off and be just 1 degree better in the world. We talk about this all the time too. All I can control is my two. That's it. It's my job to make them as best as they could be, and then to create, maybe surround themselves with some other dudes and some other gals that are like-minded, and then that's how we change the world. We don't change the world by hollering and bitching at people on social media, right?
I tell Candace that I'm gonna make my daughter cooler than the guy she meets.
100%.
Like she's gonna be like, yeah, you can't ride a dirt bike, you can't shift. Get out of here.
Fucking nerds.
You can't,
like, get out of here, bro.
You can't catch a bass. The fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna treat her almost as pretty much the same way I'm gonna raise Megan. They're gonna be such outdoorsmen. I want them to be like the other day when we're riding a dirt bike, she leaned forward on her own and grabbed the handlebars. I was like, oh shit, I might have like a dirt bike riding daughter. I'm like,
how old is she?
Shit. She's 1.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe shit. Maybe I'm like a dirt bike riding daughter dad. I'm like, that'd be fucking sweet.
That's cool.
Bad shit. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to make her cooler than the guy she meets. So she'd have to meet somebody else, like, on a different level of other men.
Like, you gotta come up with something.
With the kids, raising a boy is different than raising a girl. They have got to be raised differently. It is not equal, right? It's just not what it is. It's not that we, as much as people want to, we do not live or shouldn't live in an all-inclusive world, because how I raise my son is going to be 1,000% different than how I raise my daughter, outside of like our standards and our core values, right? Whatever that is, whatever that looks like in your household.
And that's
right.
Okay.
And that is completely fine. And
okay.
when my boy acts a certain way, and on the surface it might be like, hey, he's being a little bad, but I'm like, well, there's more good qualities in there, what I want him to be like, that I'm okay with that. If my daughter, it wouldn't be the same, because there's more qualities in there that maybe we don't want. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah, like the fact that my son doesn't want to sit down for 6 hours a day in school, I'm okay with that, right? He shouldn't want to do that. You know?
Doesn't want to be in a prison. That's understandable.
And look, we're lucky. We have his kindergarten teachers are phenomenal. He goes in there, he talks about hunting and shooting deer and fighting, and like the teachers are cool with it because they recognize, hey, they're just being good boys. They're being boys. And
it's
we
okay to be ornery.
Yeah, it's
not an asshole.
Yeah, we got a note from his teacher a couple weeks ago because him and a couple other dudes at recess were sitting around a fake campfire and talking about whose dad would beat up the other dad. And,
normal.
and I love that they didn't give a shit about it. They were just like, it was just almost like a funny note to us about it, because we know his teacher pretty well. And you're right, it's 100% normal. I'm like so
Normal.
glad there's boys actually doing that. Like it makes my heart happy to know that boys are sitting around fake campfires talking about my dad will beat up your dad. You
Yeah.
know, that's
They're
just
out there
how it should
measuring
be.
each other up, dude, which is normal.
It's
Yeah, you know what I mean?
normal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and what's the alternative? You want to take that away? Do you want to create men that don't have that? Now we're talking how we get into a weak society of men that cannot provide and
Yeah.
protect and cannot keep the bad guys you talked about, right? Because look,
Yeah.
we got to know violence to keep that away, right? A good man
Yeah.
Yes.
stops a bad man through violence, right?
100%.
So there's the difference in like how you're raising your kids and the
Yeah.
standards and what I'm okay with.
The other morning when Macon was clocking up with Jerry, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I was like, oh, he's trying to size, like he's trying to feel himself out. He's like trying to size up. And I told
Yeah.
Cass, I was like, yo, he was like, not that he did anything. I was like, but he made the attention to like kind of size up another human. I was like, good. This guy's like, he's one of,
You ever
It's
bird, you know what I
normal.
mean?
you ever coach youth sports?
No, I've taught lessons to kids, but never coached youth sports. I would love to do it.
You need to find yourself a Pop Warner football team or a wrestling team or lacrosse team or something in like the 8U, 6U age group, and you need just to go commit to a season and help these kids out. You have a lot to offer, regardless if you know the sport or not. You have a lot to offer here. And where I'm going with this is like so I coach 6U Pop Warner,
Mhm.
and we all of our coaches are dudes, and we kind of know football's a violent sport, right? So when the boys start getting fired up and we're scrimmaging each other and full contact 100%, and then you see these little attitudes come out and these little like maybe like some dirtiness, maybe some
Mhm.
scuffling, and you just let it go to a certain level.
Let them figure
I
that
want
shit
them
out.
to figure it out. You want to get up, and this sounds really bad, but you want to get up and like kind of kick the dude or do some dirty stuff or maybe a shove. Like I'm like, yeah, let's go, boys.
Yeah.
Let's get
Let's
it.
get violent. You know
Because
what
you're
I mean?
also hoping that the other kid that got shoved gets up like, I'm gonna fucking get that mother. You're like, yeah, let's go,
Yeah.
let's go.
And it's okay to do that. And before every single game, I tell my boys, go be a bully. And this is your chance.
Yes.
I go tell Jerry for every wrestling match, my last words to him before he goes out in the ring is go be violent. You got,
Yes.
you
That's
know
what
what
you're
I
there
mean?
to do. We're all
Yes.
signing up for the same thing. We're not
Yeah.
signing up there to hold hands
And
and
I,
walk out. We're playing football.
yeah. And I say this intentionally over and over and over and over and over again. So when they go, their mind is going to be just muscle memory. Now's the time to turn a switch. Now's the time to be a bully. Now's the time to be violent, right? We come on if you're going to be a good kid. And I want to make sure you make good choices.
Yep.
Here's your good choice right now.
And that's how you also protect yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be able to handle the
Yes.
problem. You got to be able to protect yourself.
Yeah. So you need to find a youth sport and start coaching a little bit because there's another way we could change the world, right? By little
Um.
tiny pieces is by being a coach to 30 other knuckleheads. Or my wife's a teacher and she has so is his wife. The frustrations in the classroom. I'm like, but you're a good one. You have an opportunity to help these kids, not just our two. Now you have an opportunity to help 90 other ones. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's a role that I know someone like you will not take lightly as well. You know what I mean?
No. My end goal is to actually create a program. I'm actually in the middle of doing it for kids, specifically for live entertainment, because they just don't know that there's a gazillion jobs inside of live entertainment where you don't have to be Beyonce or Taylor Swift to make a good living, and you don't have to be the fucking drummer.
Yeah.
Like you could be a ton of different. Like, give me, bro. These truck drivers make $250,000 a year just carrying around rigs.
Man. And they ain't unloading nothing.
Can't touch a fucking thing. That's
Wow.
Just
it.
back up a trailer.
That,
Yeah.
we go and then go to the hotel, go to sleep. Cool. What time the show over? Great. I'll be back. Like it's that simple for them. But yo, I
That would be a
love
sweet gig.
dog. Yeah, I love all the shit of like, and then you talked about exclusivity, which if it's okay to circle back to that, I would love to.
Yeah.
This world has gotten soft and frail when it comes down to exclusivity. They've diluted the sense that men and women are equal, and to should we be equally socially accepted? It's like, no, we don't think anyone, whether you're gay, trans, straight, black, white, should be accosted, verbally assaulted, I don't know anyone fucking believes that. I just don't know anyone that believes that. But what we don't believe is that we're the fucking same, because we are not. We are very different. And there's every aspect of our lives that make us very different. There's professional athletes to Pop Warner. You think they're the fucking same? No. You think the WNBA and the NBA is the same? No. Fun fact, there's no rule that says women cannot go play in the NBA. There's not one.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys go? Because we're not the fucking same. Like it, and that's okay. But we've got to stop this like we're equal thing, because we're not. But it also which makes Elon who he is versus some random coder that's just now learning what the fuck he's doing or she's doing. Yeah. Elon is not, me and Elon are not the same. Elon is solving major fucking problems. I make thousands of people feel good for 2 hours. We're not the fucking same. Like, we are not the fucking same. So it's just like, we got to stop with this, like, we're equal shit. Should we have equal opportunities? Yes. Equal outcome? No.
Yeah.
You trying to tell me there's a 10-year-old kid that is waking up at 4 a.m, going and throwing a ball every fucking day should be equally the same as someone who just randomly shows up to practice and half-asses it? Yeah. No. Yeah. This kid is a fucking rock star and he deserves to be treated as such. Cool.
Yep.
He's earned it.
I think that also limits, kids and adults from finding out where they should have fallen to. Everybody wants to be this. Oh, why can't I be this? Like, man, you were actually meant to be here, and you were meant to help these people come up to here. Yes. You're meant to be somewhere else. Just accept you. Like, I always think God will give you the challenge, and either you are going to make it through, or you're going to fall where you're supposed to be at.
Yes,
and that's what I believe.
As long as if
you're trying to have the same outcome as everybody else, who the fuck's filling the rest? And how are you challenging and looking at yourself? Maybe
why
God
try
you to look at yourself more, and you're meant for something else. You need to have this one big failure to just be a step below to help everyone else and make a change somewhere else. You know what I mean?
And it's the same with parenting. I think another conversation folks have is like the husband and the wife are the same. They're not. Like I can't do the things my wife does. You know what I mean? I cannot nurture like she can.
You know that right away.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
The kids ain't come cuddling up with me when they're sick. They don't do that, right? That's not the way it should be. Mom is
young, they don't give a shit about us.
No, mom is the nurturer. They know that. But like when a bug has to be killed, right? Then my daughter comes to me. Daddy killed a bug for me. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be. Be proud of your role, because I can never ever replace you. I can never be mommy. I mean, that is a role that we need for everybody. I saw something the other day. It was like the mom is the first woman the son can help and protect, right? Carrying groceries in. The mom could be a good mom by making the son carry groceries in, because now you're the big strong boy. You help mommy carry groceries in. Now it's giving him a sense of his role as a man, right?
Yes.
I always do that too. I always enjoy that. I'm like, how many bags can I grab at once?
Yeah.
Yeah, you start playing little games with yourself to see how much you can accomplish. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't mean, just when you say we're not equal parents, maybe we have like equal responsibilities, or there's some equality there, but we're not the same, right? We have different roles. And if every dad focused on being the best father and the best man, and every woman focused on being the best mother and nurturer and all the things that you do that I can't do, a family cannot fail. It's impossible to fail if you hyper focused on your role inside of your little nuclear family. You know what I mean? Yep. But people try to play too many things. I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need no man. I could be a single mom, raise my kids just fine. And I know a lot of single moms, and they're great. I love their heart, but it's not the same. You know what I mean?
It's not the same. It's not the same. And it's a weird flex too that I just don't understand, because I never, and maybe you guys have, I've never heard a man say, I don't need a woman. I've just never fucking heard a man ever say that fucking word or phrase ever. You hear it all the time from women. I'm like, guys, stop that. Because now I think as we get older, and maybe you guys may feel differently, but I take it personally offensive, because every infrastructure and thing that happens here, we create and uphold. If every man decided we're about to just be like, it would take 48 hours for the US to get conquered.
Yeah. You're 100%
Think
right.
about that shit. Just think about it. What if we all say, fuck it, we're going to Europe? Every plane that we got, every man's gone. Just women. Trying to be like, oh, what? Cool.
Yeah.
Like we here now. We about to take this whole land over. So it's like you may have bad experiences and all this shit, but it just doesn't stop saying that shit. To your point, it's like you and your wife, you have equal responsibilities, but you're very different. The difference is your wife isn't trying to be you and you aren't trying to be your wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it works.
Yeah, that for sure.
It's
My
great.
we always joke, kind of a joke in our house, because my wife is always like, "Why the fuck did some women back in the day decide we have to go to work?" Like,
That's okay.
who's this
bitch up for you?
Who's this bitch that wanted to be equal to men and go out into the workforce? She's like, I would love just for us to have one vehicle for the family and me just stay home and take care of a house and raise kids. But no, some bitch, some feminist decided, oh no, I should work. I should have a career. You know what I mean?
And I do believe I am a strong believer that that's how a household should be, because it's not doing anybody good that we're fucking gone all day. That's why the school had to be like, well, I guess we'll just be 8 hours a day because everybody's gone now. So it's like I even tell kids, like, man, you really don't get to see your kids that much. You come home, you got to get through the things, and like, okay, I guess we're just putting them to bed.
Yeah, 4 to 8 p.m.
Yeah, so it's like it'd be great if then you try to get the whole chores done in the house. All this stuff's like, it'd be cool if somebody was home all day. You know what I mean? Got some of this shit done.
Yeah.
And men are built to take a brunt of the hard, stupid shit. Hey, I'll go do the dumb shit. The job I could die on. I'll bring the money in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just lean into the things we're realistically good at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. Even my wife says she's like, I'd love to be home with the kids. Like, I know women, they'd love to be around the kids. Like, that'd be so great for them. They can nurture the kids. They could just teach the kids.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like the way of school, go, man, we should have some more people at home teaching the kids.
Yep.
You know, let the guys go out. Someone figure it out. Let the guys go out and die on some dumb job site. You know what I mean? Like, we're stupid enough to do it. You know what I mean?
And we want to do it. Like when we
want to do it.
earn,
You know what I mean?
I think that's also a huge difference. It's like when men earn, we think, okay, what can I do for my family or the people I love? When women earn, they think, great, I don't need anybody. It's a huge fucking difference.
Yeah.
So it's like we will gladly go suffer for 12 hours. Is it going to be the most enjoyable thing? Fuck no. But when we come home and it's like, it's a pretty nice house. You know, it's really, my wife is smoking fucking hot. This is cool. This is all right with me. So it's like,
there should be like a movement, like where women are like, hey, we proved it. We can do it. But let's go back.
yeah, like we're good now. Like I want to keep the right to vote,
but the only thing we did was just speed up the world. Everybody's just working to buy dumb shit to put in your house.
Yeah, it's and you can go all down those rabbit holes of like, well, the government just wanted to double their tax revenue, and you know, the indoctrination.
Jerry, they fucking did. They got us.
Yeah, I mean, all of those things, but you know, I stick with my same values, like control the controllables. You know what I mean?
I get it. And trust me, I get it. I could see the women that started, I could see the value and be like, hey, we want to work. Like, I'm sure it would be, you probably would feel, that probably is an ego check for a woman. It probably does not always feel valued to be home all day and not outside doing, like, I understand as humans, you love to accomplish a goal. You know what I mean? I think men are very driven on that. You know what I mean? I'd have to talk to more women to see how, you know, there's obviously really goal-driven women. Yeah, so I could see the value on both sides. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just like I think a lot of women were like, "But we didn't sign up. Like, I'd like to stay home. I wish I'd like it." You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a couple generation
hybrid. It is the first start of like women are like, "Fuck, we're all going part time now. Like, we can get that sense of accomplishment still, and we can still be home and hang out with the kids more and slow the work day down, and everybody could benefit from it."
The good thing is it is a choice. You can choose to do that. You can shift your lifestyle.
Not here in America, we fucking healthcare. That's why I would have my wife quit today if I didn't need healthcare.
We've had that conversation too, because she's a teacher as well.
I don't even use her money.
No.
I have my own businesses. All my accounts are all mine. I don't even use her money for anything. So I'm like, I don't even know. We don't even need it. Just like I need the health insurance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
the health insurance and your 3 months off in the summer that we can go do things we want to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of value there. So we've had that conversation too. Do I need to work? No, but you're saving us $4,000 a month in health insurance. You know, you're working 180 days a year, and you made a great choice there because it positions you to spend more time with your family doing around the things we like to do, like go to the beach and hang out and do this and that other thing. So it
Yeah.
affords us to do that stuff. So I think the choice is there, you
Man,
know,
we didn't even know we chose pretty good.
I mean,
We chose good.
look, Pam was very deliberate in that choice, going from a hospitality industry hotel, or I'm sorry, a restaurant bar manager, which is no life, and
Brutal.
miserable, everything, to like, well, I want to do this because I can get these things and create my life around that, and
Yeah.
I enjoy it, and I
Right.
enjoy the things that I know I can recognize I'm doing good in the
Lesson here, Jarvis, get yourself a teacher wife. All right.
Yeah. I'm dating a
Oh
travel nurse
man.
right now, and it's actually great because
Dude, I knew this. I like a conversation with you can go on forever. I want to know what your goals are moving forward. Now, how long you been out in Los Angeles? 5, 6 years?
6 years, I think now. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've gotten, obviously you're pretty happy where you're at. What's next? What's the level up now?
Yeah. The next level is I need to work with everyone I want to work with. And not because I want to work with them, but I think it gives me a different level of credibility when I start this program. But my ultimate goal is to get back into schools, like I mentioned earlier, because because of where I came from. I didn't know a lot of this shit was possible until I even got here, and I think there's a lot of benefit to giving back to schools in areas like Delaware and like Vermont. Like these random areas that aren't exposed to things, so they understand that they can do things inside of it. Like this computer makes me a fuck ton of money and I stay home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you don't know that this job is possible. There's certain aspects in this career field. So yeah, my ultimate goal is to, if you care to hear it, the concept is I'll have all my friends that are home, and my pool is, I'm blessed to have, is a great reach. Is like, cool, we create a 30-minute show, we'll put it on for the kids in a school district, great. Then the week that we have with them, we're going to teach them that show, and then they're going to put that concert on for their community at the very end.
I like that.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, so during that week, they get to work with professionals who've done X, Y, and Z, and they're going to learn lighting, sound, how this rig got built, how the tracks got built, how the keys player learned it, how the drummer learned it, how the horn player learned it, every aspect of what it took to put this show together. So now when I leave, I'm going to leave them laptops. I'm going to leave them drums. I'm going to leave them interface and leave them guitars. So now they have the tools and resources to create that and hopefully elevate their own productions from that point forward. And now they have a better sense of like, okay, I don't have to be Beyonce to make six figures. Nope. Like I don't have to be the drummer to make six. Nope. Like you
And that
don't.
gives them an avenue. They know how something like that can get done. Because man, that's like I got a business degree, and when you graduate, like, good business everywhere. Go figure the fuck out. Like there's no like, hey, this part of it, this is how you should do it. This is the steps you should take.
Yep.
This exists. It's just like, I don't know, get hired somewhere. Go figure the fuck out.
And there's so many kids right now that, because my wife says all the time, that want to be influencers, right? I want to be, but they just, I can appreciate it because I think I know what they really mean is I don't want a 9 to 5 job, which is great. So by having a resource like what you want to do, this takes the people, probably a big chunk of them that want to be influencers, and go like, oh, this is how I really can do it. I could do things like this and work from my laptop, and I don't have to do dumb shit on TikTok.
I think
You know what I mean?
I think it also shows you that kids, the influence, they see an avenue and know exactly how it's done. It says you get on this platform, you do this. This is the things that are trending. You can do, like, the steps are there.
Yeah.
A lot of jobs don't have the steps. Like simple things like, you want to be a welder? All right, we're going to teach you how to weld, then go get a fucking welding job. That's it. There's some things out there that just have a ladder to it that you can easily see. I think you see a lot of kids saying, well, here's a ladder. I can see the ladder. Let me give it a shot. I don't have to guess. I can either fail or make it. I know I don't have to.
I think that's a phenomenal idea. You need to hurry up and get on that.
Yeah. I didn't know any of this shit existed.
No.
Most people don't. And I think
yeah.
it's also the thing I love about what I do is like I said, I want you all, when you come watch a show, to not, it's like this. It's like if you know how the magic is done, it loses its traction. I don't want you guys to see the behind the scenes. I don't want you to know how many hours. I don't want you to do that. I truly don't. I don't want you to feel the stress. I want you to just enjoy yourself. But there's a lot of people that understand how to reveal things and to do certain things and how that show is designed that do really, bro. I know choreographers who are millionaires, millionaires, and they just design just dance moves. And it sounds,
you don't ever see them on stage.
Nope. They don't ever have to go anywhere. They literally, let's say their hub is like Nashville or New York or LA or whatever. Cool. I'm here for a month. I teach these dancers to do X, Y, and Z, and then catch you later on to the next show.
What do you find like? So, what would you say that you learned at Berkeley, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn at Berkeley, and that you also didn't learn, like when you got out? Like, what are the differences in what you learned and what you had to learn when you got out?
Nothing. Yeah. Luckily,
I learned how to shotgun a beer, and no.
Yeah, man.
I learned the circle of fifths and how to drink a beer.
Legit. I mean, there's definitely benefits to going to school. However, if anybody who is thinking about going to music school for performance specifically, don't. And if your child is ever asking you, I want to go to music school to play drums, tell them to don't fucking do that. Take your money, get them an apartment in a city that's moving, and spend your money there, because they're going to learn more figuring out how to learn and network and what these people are actually doing versus sitting with some fucking professor that never made it. No shame to the professors. There's definitely benefits to what they do. The truth of it is they're usually not the people that you're trying to be, though. So it's really hard to talk to them about certain things and aspects when they're playing at the local dive bar on the weekend and that's all they know. Once again, no shade.
Yeah.
It's just when you learn, it's like, I wouldn't go to business school to figure out how to become a millionaire from someone who's not a millionaire. That sounds dumb to me. It's like I would figure out how to provide value to that millionaire and learn what they did. And then if I can provide value, then they want to invest into me. But do I need to go to business school to really do that?
Yeah. Or spend a fraction of the money and maybe pay for a little mini course on music production. Maybe I want to pay Jarvis a little bit of money, and hey, can I apprentice you, or can I be an apprentice to you, and I pay you a little bit of money. That's the money well spent. And the crazy thing is, dude, people right now, especially like boomers, they'll be like, why would you pay Jarvis money to do that? You should be going to college. Well, like, what I want is what he has, so why not exchange goods to learn from him at a fucking fraction of the cost?
He's the guy I'm going to try and be. So why would I not learn from him? He's in the position. He's not teaching the position. He is the position.
Pay Jarvis 10 grand for 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is to help, or pay $100,000 and just do math again.
I can tell you out of my whole college career of learning business, that I had only like 2 professors that really got it. Everybody else just went off the PowerPoint. There was one guy that said, look, I know you guys are cheating. I can see you guys cheating. He said, and it's almost not cheating, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in business and your boss says, can you get this done? Or do you know this? You better go yelp and inside your head go, I need to figure that the fuck out now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's like, so he's like, you're just hustling.
Brutally honest.
And the other one was one of my professors, Mr. Respects. He owned all the Respects in West Virginia.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
When you got to his class, he's like, oh, I'm going to fucking teach you because I am the man. And
I'm the man.
His class was absolutely different than anything that everybody else. He was barely out the book. He's like, teach you shit right now. The first day of class, I think I told you this. He brought me right. He's like, this is sales. Well, let's just do some sales. You look like an outgoing guy. Pointed at me, said, come up here. We'd like to play. I said, I like to play piano. He goes, sell her a piano.
Yep.
And we started just like that. Like, let's fucking.
They just chewed you up and told you.
Yeah, this like, well, you should have done this.
Yeah.
This is what you. I'm like, I learned
this
more
is
in
real
2
life.
seconds. Yeah, real life shit right then and there.
Yeah, dude.
That's where I would spend my money, man. I think if I tell this, I do consultations, and some people who I don't believe in them, or not really believe in them, but they don't have the work ethic, I think I charge them. But I had a kid just said he just moved here from Canada, and he reached out on Instagram and he was like, hey, I'm new to Hollywood. Like, I know you do a lot of cool shit. Is there any way I could buy you coffee? That's how you approach that.
Yeah.
Awesome, by the way. Never asked for a gig. He's like, can I just buy you coffee? I would love to pick your brain. Cool. No, bro. Call me. Here's my number. We'll just chat. Never charge this kid $1.
Mhm.
But the point of it is like he moved to an area, he spent money at school, which I think he should not, but that's fine. But if I'm a parent, I'm thinking, what's the best bang for my buck? ROI. You guys are in business, we get it. What's my return on the investment? So if I have to spend $60,000, well, I can spend that a fraction of that, put my kid in a major city for a whole year. Right? Let's say your rent's $2,000, just going to spend $2,400 or $24,000 just to make sure they can live. Okay, but you're in the city that people are doing what you want to do. Now it's up to you to go figure out how to do it.
Mhm.
Much better resource.
And you're not 4 to 5 years behind.
Yeah, you're
So,
completely
Dude, when you're in college, I remember when my buddy and Mike and I got out of college, dude, we had buddies that didn't go to college. They either went into service or they went into some type of industry. And I'm like, how much do you make? Like, oh yeah, why you guys were in school, man? I'm already project manager now. I'm like, I feel like we're fucking behind. I feel like we're fucking behind already. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like you need work experience. Like everybody's like, you need work experience. I'm like, but I went to college, don't you? They're like, no, we're looking for work experience. I'm like, this don't even make sense.
This don't make sense. It
One of the
does not
greatest
make
things
sense.
one of the greatest things I ever did was drop out of college, man. I'm so happy I did that. And like, shoot, what a good decision. My parents didn't think so at the time, but I had a feeling, I don't know if this is going to get me anywhere. I don't know if this is going to get me in a bunch of debt or whatever, man. But dude, I cannot wait to see you do that. Any plans on coming back to Delaware?
Yeah, so I'm trying to do a couple master classes. I have like a 2 week off thing in June. I'm gonna try to come back and do like a couple master classes at school once again, free.
Right.
Like I don't want a fucking dime for this. Like I will fund my own way. I don't need the
Right.
money. I
I
just
love
want
it.
to give these kids an avenue to understand that things are possible. Like I see these kids and they look so fucking defeated.
Yeah.
Like they spend so much time on their damn phone. They just don't know that there's a world out here. So yeah, no, my plan is to come back and start there because I have a reach. And I think when you're a name, which is stupid,
Yeah.
in a hometown, it's a little easier to walk in and be like, hey, I went here. So
Yeah.
listen to
Well,
me
that's what
kind of
everybody
thing.
does because it's the natural thing to do. And I
Yeah.
think it's the right thing to do
Yeah.
too. You give back to your community first, right? That's where
Mhm.
you're going to be the most passionate, most likely, and like not like you wouldn't come from a genuine angle of service anyway, but I feel like it's more so when it's your own hometown,
And
your own school.
it's nice to come back and put your dick on the table.
And they
What's up? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Step aside.
Yeah.
Let me take care of this real quick.
So Jarvis, tell everybody where they can find you, where you're most active, where's your best content, all that stuff.
God. I guess Instagram. I hate social media, by the way. But yeah, Instagram, if you want to stay tuned in, it's at Jarvis Jeb. So you can tap in there. Got some fun announcements coming up. So I think the world is going to be shocked about some really cool things that are happening. And I'm
I
fucking
love it.
pumped.
How about your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I haven't been active on there, but there's a lot of people that still miss me. I think daily I get probably like 5 messages like, hey, when are you coming back? But yeah, YouTube is Drumming with Jarvis. I think there's about 51,000 people that are patiently waiting for me to drop a video.
Dude, are you monetize on YouTube?
Yeah, both channels
Why,
are.
why aren't you pushing it more then?
The truth of it is that I didn't understand. I don't see much value in it, not from a monetization standpoint, but I don't want to do shit that not meaningful to people.
Mm.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Like that's why I love music. It's like I can play a chord and change you guys' mood instantly.
Mm-hmm.
That's impactful.
Do you feel like you're
Dropping-
becoming the professor then? You're going to be the professor if you're on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, man. I think I just got to figure out a more creative way that I think it is going to create more actual value versus just like a video that people watch to escape their problems. Like that's
But
a
dude,
benefit.
But that is value though, right? It is, right? There if you could change someone's mood,
There's value,
value.
there's impact. You know what I mean?
that's okay. So that's a better way
There's
to
a
put it.
value meal. You know what I mean? Out
Yeah.
there everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I want my life to have. The truth of it is, I want God to be proud of me, and I don't know if some of these videos are going to be
It's a
have
dear
that impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I fear when I die that God will show me my life, what it could have been if I would have done certain things, and it'd be like, you fucked up. Ugh. Like that would crush me. It would really crush me to know that I could have done more. So I try to be as calculated and intentional, seems to be the word of the podcast, as possible. So I will come back to it, but it just needs to make more sense.
Well, dude, that makes perfect sense. The great thing about today's world is you can do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy, you can do it.
Yeah.
So, all right, dude. Well, look, I'm gonna wrap this up. I cannot thank you enough for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Anytime.
And also, I'm just glad I got to rap with you for a little bit because it's been a long time.
Yeah, my
So,
number. Use it. Hit me anytime.
Yeah, you get back here to Delaware, man, and you want to like slide in and train and or whatever. You want to go for a ruck or whatever the fuck, man. Yeah,
Love it.
we can make that happen.
I'll text you. I think I'm gonna be in the surrounding city soon, so I'll get you guys some tickets to come to a show. I'll text you who it is for.
That'd be even better. I love music, especially live music, man.
I'll get you guys some
brother.
tickets.
Well, look, man, or I'll jump off here. Have a good one. We'll talk again soon.
Later. Love, guys. Be safe in these streets.
All right, you got it, brother. Take care.
See you guys.
See you.